Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome to the fifth HTML tutorial video here in Web Design Fundamentals. In the previous videos, previous video actually, we looked at the list element, which allowed us to create ordered and unordered lists of items in our HTML. We used it to first create an ordered list of how to learn HTML and a unordered list of a shopping list, and then we combined that knowledge with our links that we learned in the video before that one, and we created a small little navigation menu in our website. So if you missed that one, go back and check it out. Those are some pretty useful elements that we'll be using later on. But if you did see it and you're ready to move on, today we're going to be learning something a little more fun, and it's going to be how to include images in your HTML page. This is a very useful, obviously a very useful element in HTML. I can't imagine the last website I went to that didn't have at least one image in it. Images are a huge part of web pages, and so we're going to learn how to include those right now. So the way we do this is with the image element, and it's just img, and then we close that. Oops. Oh, that's the other thing I forgot to mention. Image tags are one of the few tags in HTML that actually don't have a closing tag. Instead, we just put a slash inside and then our closing triangular bracket. So unlike something like maybe a p tag, where we do this to close in, we put our text inside, because the image doesn't have any text inside of it, because it's an image, we don't need to have a closing tag because nothing can go inside of this image except for the attribute that we're going to put inside. But just like with this paragraph, we can put text inside, or a link, we can put our link text inside. With the image, it's just displaying an image, and we can't put any other elements inside of it. And so because of that, we don't need a closing tag. There is no closing tag, and we just put this slash and then our closing triangular bracket. Now you may be wondering, well, alright, that's great, we just created an image element, but where the heck is the image? And that's what we're going to answer right now, and we're going to actually learn our second attribute right now. So if you recall, in a couple videos ago, we had our with our href attribute, and our href attribute is what led us to whatever web page we were going to, well, with the image element, we have another attribute that we're about to learn, and that is the source attribute. And the source attribute is src equals 2 quotes. So you're noticing a familiar pattern now with these attributes. As with our href attribute, we have equals, quotes, and our link to wherever we're trying to link to. Well, with the image one, what we put inside of our source attribute is the path to our image that we're trying to get. And paths are kind of, well, they're definitely beyond the scope of this tutorial. Eventually I'm planning on creating tutorials for paths and using the command line and all of that. But basically paths are what directory your image lies in. And the cool thing about paths is we don't even have to learn paths right now, as long as we put our images inside of the same folder that our current HTML file is in. So if you didn't notice up here, if you couldn't see it, I created this www, gosh, that's hard to say, folder inside of my desktop, and inside of that I have some images and I have my index.html. So make sure your images, whatever images you choose to use, are in the same folder as your index.html page that we're working in, and you won't have any problems, and I'll show you what I mean in a second. So as you can see, I have this photo 1, photo 2, and photo 3, and they're all .jpegs. So you're going to need to remember what your image names are. And inside of these quotes, we put the name of the image, whatever it's called. So for our first one, we're going to put photo1.jpg. And keep in mind that this only works if your images are in the same folder. If they're not in the same folder, you're going to have to include some path information in front of this. And I'm guessing you guys don't know how to do that, so we're not even going to worry about it right now. And for our next one, we're going to go image source equals, and I conveniently named these photo 1, 2, and 3 just so it'd be easier to remember. You're obviously going to need to replace these names with whatever the name of your image is. Let me go ahead and finish this up for you guys. Photo3.jpg. Make sure I spelled that right. Alright, so now we have these 3 images created with our source attribute, and you're going to go ahead and see exactly what this does right now. So I'm going to go ahead and open my index.html. And here we go right here. So I have this picture of a llama, I guess it is, for the first one. And then I have this anchovy, which is our famous anchovy from the last video on our shopping list, and an artichoke from our shopping list last time. And in case you guys are wondering if I like anchovies and artichokes, I don't. I can't stand either one. I have no idea why I decided to use them in my webpage, but I figured it would be somewhat funny. So anyway, let's explain this a little bit more. We have 1, 2, and 3 image elements. So let's go ahead and look back here. Pretty self-explanatory. I mean, we create this image tag here with our source attribute, and our source attribute is what tells the computer where the image is, so that it knows where to choose it from and display it into our web page. If we went ahead and left this blank, we should get a little blank image icon. Oh, see, the image icon doesn't even show up there. If we put something in here like some random text, I think we should get one of those. Yeah, this little image. Let's see if I can zoom on that little image icon right here. And so whenever you see that in a web page, sometimes you'll see it, it means that the image wasn't loaded properly. So that's what we get when we get that, but let's go ahead and replace it with photo 1 and reload that. So yeah, guys, this is a pretty short tutorial. I mean, it's, like I said, it's pretty self-explanatory. The only thing that you really need to remember here is that the image tag has no closing tag. It just has this slash inside of the main tag. And you'll notice that with a couple other elements that we'll learn later on, but this is one of the few that actually has that. And the reason for this, like I said earlier, is because you can't include any other elements inside of the image tag, so there's no point in creating that closing tag. We just close it within the tag. So that's about it, guys. I know this is kind of new. It looks a little bit different than the HTML looks a little bit different than what you're used to. So if you have any questions, leave them down below in the comments. Also, any feedback I'd like to hear too, go ahead and leave it down there. If you liked this video, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe for the next one. I believe in the next video we're going to actually create a couple pages. We're going to have like a main page, a photo gallery, and I don't know what else yet. I'll figure it out by then. But basically the point of that tutorial is to teach you how to link to pages within your own website. It's going to be fairly easy, just something a little bit new. And I'm pretty sure after that one, let me think here. I'm pretty sure after that one we can start getting into some CSS. I'm not quite sure. There might be some other things in HTML that I want to teach you about. But be prepared to start learning some CSS in the next few tutorials at the latest. And the first one is probably going to be pretty long, so make sure you have some time to watch that one. And make sure that you're totally comfortable with your HTML before you move on to CSS. And especially make sure that you're comfortable with these attributes, because these attributes come into major play when we start working with CSS, and you'll see why. But just make sure you're comfortable with all that, guys. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and cut this video now, and I will see you guys in the next one.